This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning-Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. There's something I've been thinking about a lot lately because it's also something that took me a really long time to figure out. But now that I see it clearly, I will never be able to unsee it. And wow, there are so many of us who are starting to see it and are unsure what to do about it. There's a whole world out there ready to support who you are so you can finally get back to who you were before the world told you who to be. You just got to get real about what's holding you back from getting there. And it's not just about who you are, it's also about what you're surrounded by and what you consume. It's your environment, your orbit, that invisible ecosystem that you wake up into every single day, your life algorithm, your personal inventory. The hard part that we tend to push down and ignore for too long is that you can't outgrow an environment that keeps reintroducing you to or reminding you of a smaller version of yourself. And yet, so many of us try to do that. We try to think better thoughts and make the best of things. We try just to be more confident. We try just to show up differently, but we're still surrounded by the same inputs, the same conversations, the same expectations, the same energy. And then we wonder why nothing really changes. Decades go by and we're still stuck. So the bold bridge starts here. If you've been in my world, you know I talk about the bold bridge. It's the space between who you are right now and who you know that you're meant to be. And the way across that bridge is what I call the bold way. Break through barriers, own your impact, lead with courage, and design your future. Within that framework is a sub-framework that I call contemplate, consider, change. So my brain craves a solid framework. I'm a visual person and I need structure in order to stay on top of things and get to where I need to go. So if your brain works that way too, hang in there. You'll get a lot out of this. So this is about showing up for yourself and taking charge of your life. This is a framework that you can use for your home life and your work life to stop tolerating less than you deserve or less than you're capable of. And it's not intended to happen all at once, and it's not intended to happen perfectly. It's intended to happen intentionally. So today we're going to walk that bridge together. The first one is contemplate. So this is where most people rush through or skip entirely. Contemplate is about awareness. It's not about fixing or judging. It's just seeing. On the bold bridge, this is the breakthrough barriers part. So let's take something real, like your own self-worth. If you've ever had a moment where you felt like you weren't enough, I want you to pause and ask yourself, where did that come from? Not in a dramatic downward spiral kind of way, but in a curious, grounded way. And then zoom out. Look at your environment like you're studying it from above. Who in your life makes you feel worthy? Who makes you feel small, dismissed, or second-guessed? And what are you consuming every day? Think about social media, podcasts, shows, music. Is it expanding you or is it shrinking you? Here's the wild part. Your insecurities are usually planted like a little seed, and then it's watered by your environment. So contemplate what it is that you're dealing with. Those things, big or small, that you feel like you have to work around every single day. Those things that are exhausting you and keeping you stuck. Contemplation is thoughtful reflection. It's moving beyond the automatic reactions that we naturally fall into each day, and it's finally getting real. So let's talk about the consider part, and this is where we start connecting the dots. This is where you ask, what's actually reinforcing this insecurity? So let's stay with self-worth. Maybe your social media feeds are filled with people and things that make you feel like you're behind in life, or you're around people who make jokes at your expense and just say, it's just how we are. Maybe you don't speak up when something bothers you, or you constantly replay what you should have said later. That last one, that quiet regret loop, that is data. That is your internal system saying, hey, something here doesn't feel right. Or maybe at work, you're sitting in meetings where the same voices dominate every single time. New ideas get shut down before they're even explored. You're doing things the same way because that's how it's always been done. You leave work feeling drained, and it's not always because of the workload, but because of the energy. So let me ask you something. When's the last time you actually looked at your environment and questioned it? I'm not saying just adapt to it, but evaluate it. On the bold bridge, this is where you own your impact. It's more of you getting real and taking charge of what and how you keep tolerating less than. Your self-doubt was planted, but if your environment would stop watering it, it would get choked right out and it wouldn't be a thing anymore. So what is in your orbit or your environment that's keeping your self-doubt alive? How are you talking to yourself? Are you nourishing self-doubt by the things you say to yourself and with the habits you have? Let's talk about step 3, which is change. And this is where people freeze because it feels overwhelming. Change is difficult for a lot of people, and many times we will just choose to stay the same until it gets so uncomfortable that we can't stand it anymore, or something happens where we don't have a choice but to make a change. Change doesn't always mean flipping your whole life upside down either. Most of the time, it's smaller, it's sharper, it's more intentional. It looks like unfollowing accounts that make you feel like you're not enough. It's choosing one conversation where you do say the thing. It's setting a boundary instead of internalizing your irritation. It's picking up a book that expands your thinking instead of numbing out. It's changing the music in your car to something that actually lifts your energy. Those tiny shifts repeated consistently. That's how you start to rewrite your environment and lighten up your orbit. And then your environment starts to rewrite you. At work, this might look like asking questions like, why are we doing it this way? It's inviting different perspectives into the conversation. It's calling it out when something feels inefficient or outdated. It's shifting how you communicate with your team. It's actually caring about how people feel when they show up to work. If we're being honest, a lot of teams are operating in environments that no one has consciously designed. It's just sort of happened. And then everyone adapts to dysfunction like it's normal. Change is leading with courage on that bold bridge. It takes a lot of courage to change something, but once you start seeing the positive results of that courage, it becomes easier. Your confidence grows. And then next is sustaining that work, showing up consistently for yourself, keeping promises to yourself. This is the part where you become the person you know you can be. Not someday, but now. You don't sit back and wait for the environment to change first. You start showing up differently within it. You bring a new standard. You bring a new energy that shows you're doing the work. It's a new level of awareness that puts you in the driver's seat. And yes, sometimes that will disrupt things. Good. Disruption is often the first sign that something outdated and no longer useful is being challenged. So if you're constantly feeling insecure, stuck, drained, or small, it's not just you. This comes up in every conversation I have with clients in some form or another. So it's worth asking, what am I surrounded by that's reinforcing this version of me? You know what? You deserve an environment that supports who you're becoming, not one that quietly shuts it down. So I want to leave you with some questions to ask yourself. How do I talk to myself, and where did I learn that voice? How do the people around me talk to me or about me? What do I consistently consume? TV, music, socials, food, and how does it make me feel? Where am I tolerating something that actually needs a boundary? Who around me is expanding me, and who is keeping me playing small? And maybe the biggest one, what would change if I took responsibility for my own environment? The bold bridge isn't about becoming someone else. It's about removing what's been shaping you into someone that you're not. One thought, one boundary, one shift at a time. Contemplate, consider, change. And then show up like you mean it. So if this made you stop and think, share it with someone who's ready to look at their environment a little differently. And if you're ready to go deeper, you already know where to find me. I've also created a free resource for you to help you walk through these steps. If you're a newsletter subscriber, you'll find this resource in the password-protected webpage. Click on the link in the show notes to sign up for the Becoming Bold Blueprint, and then you'll get quick access to all the goods. Let's build an environment that actually supports who you're becoming. Until next time, please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.